Hello, it's Miss Johnson here. I'm going to show you how to rotate a shape from a center of rotation that is not the origin. So the basic rotation is around 0, 0 or the origin, but this one has a different center of rotation, and I'm going to use tracing paper for this. In fact, I don't have any tracing paper, so I am using a piece of baking paper which I bought from my local co-op. Other stores are available, and I'm going to rotate triangle ABC 90 degrees clockwise about center 1, 2. Missed out a word there. So first thing to do is to mark on the center 1, 2, 1 across and 2 up. And now, taking the tracing paper, we need to make sure that we cover both the center of rotation and the shape with the tracing paper. I'm using the top right hand corner of my baking sheet because I want to leave plenty of room to do other rotations without wasting paper. So the first thing now is to draw over the shape. Take care when doing this. You don't need a ruler, but you do need to be on top of the grid lines. You can see the grid lines underneath the triangle there, and then place the pencil on the center of rotation. Now take good care when placing this pencil, otherwise when you rotate your shape will end up in the wrong place. At this point, it might be helpful, if you sometimes struggle to know when your shape is rotated, to draw a north line like you have on a compass. So then we can follow the north line as a guide. So this has got to be rotated 90 degrees clockwise, so that means it makes a right angle, so it's got to point in that direction. So if I place my point of my pencil on there really firmly, and I lift the tracing paper, because if you push, sometimes you end up pushing the paper underneath and then you have a little bit of difficulty. So lifting the paper very carefully, turning the paper, and now my arrow is pointing to the right, which is a 90 degree rotation, and now I've just got to check that this shape is the vertical and horizontal lines of this shape are on the grid lines, because they were on the original shape. Sometimes you end up with it sometimes here, and you can see that that's not on top of the grid lines. So just then make sure you ease it across so that it's on the grid lines here and here. And now we need to mark these vertices with the pencil, but obviously the tracing paper is on top. So if you have a soft surface, then you can press firmly with your pencil to make an imprint of each vertex. But my table is a hard surface, so I'm going to use my pencil as a guide and just try and push the pencil to the right position and then lift up and mark the point. And then here I can see, because I'm close to the edge of the tracing paper, I can trace down the grid lines there and then go back up. So I know I need to go back up to there and down, and it needs to be on these grid lines there. And now I can remove the tracing paper and join up the vertices. The last thing we have to do is to label the vertices. You're not always asked to do this, but quite often at GCSE you are. So the object, the original shape, is called ABC. The image, the new shape, will be called A dash, B dash and C dash, and we need to make sure that A dash corresponds to A. Now it's fairly easy to see in this triangle that the smallest angle is A, and so this is the smallest angle in the new triangle, so this will be A dash. If it's not as easy to see when the triangle isn't as long and thin, then you can just take your tracing paper, pop it back on here, and then look at vertex A and follow where that goes to on the rotated shape, and you can see that it goes to the top corner the top vertex. B is the right angle, so the right angle on this shape corresponds to that, so that's B dash, and C is the other angle. And then sometimes you're asked on your online homework to enter the coordinates of the 3 vertices, and you have to enter those in the correct place on the screen. So that's why it's important to label these with their corresponding vertices.